Yeah. There is a mouse there. Yeah, and hi everyone. Let's start our unusual presentation today. At least unusual for the choice of the papers we usually have, but this is an important topic. So let's see.
So good afternoon. Today, Pratyush and I are going to present like MLops about MLops in the cloud, and we are going to do a live demo of SageMaker. So firstly, let's know what is MLops. So MLops stands for machine learning operation. So it's just the DevOps for machine learning. Yeah, it is like DevOps for machine learning. So it's like code function is to like it is mainly focused on building machine learning models and taking it from production, maintenance, and monitoring them and keep updating them. You can see the cycle over there. So model data and create, plan, package, and verify if it's and again repeat this cycle and everything. And so, why do we need MLOps? So the main advantage is the automation. So it reduces a lot of manual work. So by reducing it, so obviously we can accelerate the development, deployment, and management phase. And it also reduces time to market. So if we need to add a new feature, so we don't need to run the whole thing. So we can just update update our files and it will be run instantly and it will be updated and goes live. So we can also monitor and improve the performance of machine learning models, and we can do we can improve the quality of models as we have a lot of time to focus on the model itself instead of doing the deployment development part. And so it also helps for scaling ML models for larger data sets and for even for reproducibility of experiment. It is easy using version control. We need to replicate a previous experiments by just mentioning the version. You can reproduce these experiments. And it is in short, it is easy to build and manage machine learning efficiently by using MLOps. So if you guys who are not familiar with DevOps too, so the best example is GitHub pages. So when we create a package and when we need a documentation website for that, so for example, if we update any Python file in our source code, then we no need to create whole HTML files again. GitHub take care of it. We call it CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment. So for any task, we can automate it. For example, so if you run if you change any Python file, so let's say we have changed a code, we can check unit tests, and we can run unit test automatically by using GitHub workflows, all those things. So for MLOps, we are using AWS SageMaker. So what is SageMaker?
So what is the relation between MLOps and AWS? MLOps is a service of
Service.
MLops is like
SageMaker is service.
No, what is the relation between MLOps and AWS?
AWS has a lot of services, and while managing those services, we maintain some standards when it comes to the machine learning operations like training, deployment, and making an endpoint. These all come into a cycle, and the cycle is called MLOps.
So MLOps is a branch of service under AWS.
It's not a service, it's like a practice which generally everyone follows.
Kind of like DevOps.
DevOps,
Like,
kind
you
of
have
like
like
DevOps.
someone working and managing a server, but it's working and managing ML workflows.
But I like what Pratyush is saying, it's a practice.
It is a practice.
It's kind of like set of rules
Does it have to run on
follow.
AWS? Yeah, it's not like exactly what we're using.
But it runs under the hood of AWS.
No,
It's just a practice. It's what you do, right?
so it doesn't have to run on AWS.
Yeah, we can.
You could write your own shell scripts to do everything if you wanted, but that would be a lot more work, right?
Yeah, like we are using the infrastructure.
And it's not a package because it's a practice, like write a little bit of code and go and take a nap. How do you automate that in a single script? No, but so it's a practice, like a set of things to do.
It's exactly what like, Girish said, right? So like how you have in GitHub, you push your code and then you can work on on some other branch or you can make it versionized as well. So that's what DevOps is. Like, you can make different versions of your own code and try to run it for that. Although you can't run it, but you can still make different versions. For DevOps as well as for MLOps, you can make different versions and also make it run like parallelly and then maintain it. So you don't really have to use AWS for that. You can use any
Okay,
cloud
got
service.
it, yeah. That's a great answer.
Yeah, so like, what is SageMaker? So SageMaker is an AWS service, like which is for like machine learning tasks, which is based on machine learning tasks. It helps like create models and push into like production and create like smart application with machine learning models. And so we have like ECC instance in AWS. So like why do we need like SageMaker? So the first thing is like ECC instances are like for wide applications. They can be used for like web hosting, application services, like database hosting, all those things. But SageMaker is like primarily focused on like machine learning services. So additionally, like for in EC2, like if we need to configure, manage, and maintain, so we need to do it by ourselves. So but SageMaker is like fully managed service. So like we can include like ML frameworks, libraries, and we can scale by ourselves. And
So just one comment for people who may not know, we have our own high performance computing cluster that runs through Slurm and scheduler. But we also have a few AWS accounts, including I have an account with some substantial amount of money allocated on AWS. Like, and Pratyush is managing interactions with it. And some people, when the cluster is too busy or some of their experiments are harder to run on cluster, like Vishal and Riyasat and Brad sometimes run in AWS. So if you want to learn how to do it, or if you're annoyed by William taking up all the machines with his computation, then you want to run, or rather Sajjan, you want to run somewhere else where resources are available. We have those resources for justifiable use. The only difference is AWS is pay per use. We're spending money when we're using it, but if you're using it for something useful, it's okay. That's what money are for, to spend them on work. Our cluster is kind of, you can log into reserve the machine and sit for an hour like that without worrying that you just wasted $10 of actual money. So that's the difference.
His warrior got his friend.
I think close to that.
If you spin up an EC2 instance, it starts costing you money, and even if you don't do anything on it, it's the thing. So like as soon as you ask AWS for those resources, they start charging you as if you were using all of them. Versus ours, we pay for the power and stuff, but
Pay 55% overhead for that.
Right. Yeah, that's AWS can rack up pretty quickly if you're, especially if it's not being used, it's really dangerous, but.
Yeah, there are different trade-offs, different advantages. Maybe you can briefly speak to that. I see people are not familiar with AWS, even like with this in the cloud computation. We all live in the cloud. like all of our data now in the cloud, everything. So can you or Pratyush just, Girish, just make a little comment about AWS in general?
Okay, we can say that in order to maintain all the infrastructure on-prem, it's like a costly business. And when they are like auto service, we can use this AWS service so that we can spin up some instances and train the jobs over there. And if you want to run a dedicated server, then like it depends on the type of server you want to use, like prices vary and lot of factors affect. So in our lab, we mostly use like training deep learning models and also I would suggest using the SageMaker training jobs and train our model and get the result internationally for gets like that.
We need to do analysis actually, because machine with 8 GPUs costs minimum $100,000. And then in about 4 years, it's outdated, it's not supported by anyone, the producer, and universities don't want to support anymore because it's not under warranty anymore. So 4 year, $100,000. How much can we, like, what's the
the
balance
cost
of
of
the
the
AWS? Yeah. Well, we have a lot of people using this machine and machines are often idle, but we pay the cost up front. We already bought it. And plus we pay electricity, of course.
Yeah.
And it's substantial amount as well. They do consume a lot.
We are just renting the servers from AWS. That's what we can
For the same amount of money.
for the same. We can do that.
Until somebody forgets an expensive instance for
Yeah.
months there and we run out of money. Yeah,
And it would be great if IT would manage a cloud-based cluster for us, but they don't want to run through the security and, because we're aligned with GSU, it's just a whole different ballgame than if you're a private company. And also because we.
A lot of private companies don't like, cloud because there's a price point, like if you own the equipment for a certain number of years, owning the equipment. They argue sometimes it's better, but if you're under that number of years for the project, then cloud is better. And also privacy, like some people, even with all the encryption that they use in the cloud, don't want to put their data in the cloud because we have intelligence agencies that probably are in the cloud and it's just, you can't really trust the cloud 100%.
That's what I was going to say was, this. Where.
Yeah, but we don't, like, even keep a compliant data set, like anonymized data sets are in the cloud and H keeps everything in the cloud and it's quite safe, for most of the data.
I think like for cost management, like we can restrict like using expensive GPUs. We have a price list for each hour. So few like GPUs cost like $37 per hour, few cost like 5 cents per hour. So like we can filter out.
GPUs with 5 cents.
Not GPUs.
Not M1, yeah, instances, right? Instances. You can't really do anything but
I
it's
think
out.
the GPU is like least cheap is like $0.77, like 70 cents.
Like which
per
we
hour.
use for testing and training for the demo. It's cost like 7 cents per hour. 70 cents per hour, like.
Yeah, but it's still okay. My brother, well, divide 100,000 by 4 years and then see how much we really use them. They idle most of the time, and sometimes they break, and sometimes they're like, no, in the storage for 2 months, and we don't have 2 machines with 8 GPUs each, 80 gig memory each GPU. I'm ready to take 4 people from here, 400 pounds of a box, and we can just load it on U-Haul, bring it and offload. It's like, anyone wants to train GPUs, and we can do it. We have resources, but they're dead. They're just dead weight.
At $105,000, it's $2.85 per hour.
No, but that's 400,000. The machines that are in the storage already for 2 months cost 200 each. And they're not working, and they're just there, but their warranty is expiring. What meanwhile, because GSU, we're going on record, because you need a truck, you need to schedule an internal university truck to pick it up from the storage, which is university storage, and bring it to the place where that cluster is inserted. And for 2 months, I can help with you all. Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm looking for volunteers. I already spoke to Yuri and I spoke to the people there, like, "Oh, what about liability? You won't drop.
So what is the average like lifespan of one?
Yeah, like 4 years. Well, NVIDIA gives their warranty for 3, I think, only. Like our H100 is close to out of warranty and all of our V100s are out of warranty. Yeah, they're all out of warranty and that's it.
So we can't use that or
Well, we're using them, but when they break,
we can't.
nobody was gonna fix them, and if they keep continuously breaking, then we get, well, this is actually a correct conversation about why AWS made it better, because you don't worry about all that. It's, behind the part, basically, they're worrying about this. If they start continuously breaking, I've been told already yesterday that we're not gonna guarantee you like a quick fix. We will deprioritize that because they will, the research support people will say, well, oh, okay, it's V100, it's been out of warranty for 1 year already. And Yasat or Sergey is complaining, I was complaining recently because all them were down. And I just like, I couldn't quickly train anything, and they would not address this issue as urgent, but like, okay, when we get that. Because,
I guess now it makes sense to do the U-Haul thing much sooner than.
yeah. And I'm also looking for extra $200,000 to replace one of those machines. If you know where to find it. Suggestions are welcome. The grants are in, but
We post in Facebook Market,
Facebook?
Marketplace.
Well, we've submitted to CZI, what is it, Chan Zuckerberg Foundation, or initiative. Yeah, then rejected, so we'll try.
So like for ETC, we need to create our own machine learning environment each time. But for SageMaker, like we have like built-in support for ML frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch, everything. So yeah, so like basically the SageMaker is specialized for machine learning tasks, so it's better to use SageMaker or ECC instances.
Can I comment a little bit, because I'm sure 50% of people don't understand so EC2 instance is like a bare metal. You start a machine and it's the same as you bought a bare metal machine, plugged it in a cloud. Now you need to install everything. You install Linux. It's all in the cloud, but you have to like, okay, this will be my image. This will be the software. Like you use a Docker container, you kind of build it like a Docker container. And the keyword, the fully managed, maybe I'm explaining to myself, like I'm always confused, but like fully managed is everything is already installed for you. That would basically version updates and everything, they manage it. It's all coherent, there's no conflict with versions. So it is hardware and software. That what means fully managed.
Yes, sir.
Only your script
We
runs.
have flexibility to focus more on like model building rather than these stuff.
I did.
Infrastructure doesn't matter when we are using SageMaker.
Don't tell me, it's people who want me to use VS Code tell me the same thing. I like my server,
Yeah.
it matters. But I like to have access to everything.
Yeah.
So this is like how it works. It accesses like ML data from like Amazon S3 data or from like a CSV files. You can load CSV files to S3. And then it prepares the data for like testing and training purposes. And then like we build our machine learning model, and then we train and fine tune the ML models, and then later we deploy and monitor results. And like this cycle continues. Yeah, so for in Amazon SageMaker, like we have SageMaker Studio. So it is like Arch Studio or even VS Code, it looks like that. So we have for each step we have like different features. For preparation we have like SageMaker around to like.
Can you think of it as a Slurm scheduler, that you
Yeah.
just write your script, schedule it on SageMaker, it
Yeah,
gives you the result like after. So for people who want to scale out into the cloud, into AWS from the cluster, and you have the justifiable cost, again, they might also suggest that it's running all this computation and you don't have room or something like that. It's not that hard. It's very hard for stuff like those people are doing, Vyasa, Vishal, and Brad, because then like you have to configure each machine. But for stuff that you just run as a script on Slurm, I think this one is fine to train a model. And you have a train loop, this one would work like without changing it.
so yeah, so Pratyush will continue for the live demo.
I have made some presentations for like before going into
I
the.
do have like one question you probably gonna address at some point, I guess during the demo, but like. Is there like a big risk of like not shutting down your instances and just like charging lots of money? Because that's when I had like a subscription, that was like my fear usually.
Yes, that's the like main issue with AWS. We need to like continuously monitor what is running and what is the utilization we are doing. Like, if we spin up a one large GPU instance, it might cost like, thousands of bugs every month. I think we already faced the issue with like this in January or December. We resolved it with the support there, but, it creates a panic at the time, but.
It
AWS
does.
support is very friendly, they can, revert back all the money we have.
But not with SageMaker, right?
Not for SageMaker, that's for it.
Yeah, because you put the timeout,
Yeah.
your script will hopefully end, answering this.
SageMaker jobs, like training job, run only when like we are training it. Like, it only starts and works in the process where you start your training job and end your training job. It's all completely automated. I will have the session included, like how it works in the backend. Let's get into the basic implementation of model training using SageMaker. Like, these are all the topics we are going to cover, like what are the requirements we need to do and what is the pricing and what is the main difference between SageMaker instance and SageMaker training jobs. Like, when we are like newly coming into trying the SageMaker, the major difference, like major confusion everyone faces is like, there are like SageMaker instances in it and there are like SageMaker training job instances in it. What is the difference? And what is a SageMaker endpoint? And after that, I'll show the architecture which I'm implementing for demo and a live demo after that. And what are the requirements? SageMaker, in order to do our model training, we need a SageMaker notebook instance and data, a live data for using which we train our model and model functions using PyTorch. In this demo, I have implemented a PyTorch model, and we can also use TensorFlow and other machine learning platforms. And the type of training function, all the law, including all the epochs and laws, calculating and optimization, all the steps in this, and input parameters to train the model. These are the requirements.
To add on, like, SageMaker has like, its own models implemented in that. For example, if we need to use linear regression or something, it has pre-built functions for that. Like we can just import from SageMaker dot, like, whatever the folder it is in.
Is the like the coding face models are they there?
They should be there. If they are not there, we can also import them. There is an option to import the like models that are not present. And yeah.
So and also we can run our own IPNB file, just our own code too.
And what is the pricing? As we know, like SageMaker is quite costly, but if you use it correctly, it's very cheap than investing on infrastructure and building a new server. And let me show you the pricing first. I think this is not able. I'm not able to copy. This is the pricing chart for AWS SageMaker instances, where T3 is the smallest instance and this is not a GPU instance. And as we go, there is like you can use 96 vCPUs and 1 TB of memory with the price of $38 and $47. And the cheapest is like, as I said, it should be $0.9. I remember I was seeing one with 70 cents.
What would be the equivalent of like a V100 or V100 node?
Okay,
Like if you just wanted like one GPU on and 4 CPUs.
okay, for that we can use G4D and XLR. That should go.
And that's about $1 an hour.
Yeah, it's
73
like
cents.
73 cents an hour.
Oh, V100s are so cheap now. Do they have H's there already? H100?
I have to check that, bro. I'm not sure.
Oh,
But it has like 4 vCPUs and 16 GB or something with.
If you can scroll down, I think there is, H100.
Yeah. It is MLP5
MLBBQ
48 large, yeah.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah,
8
what
GB.
is it?
What is the price though?
I guess instance size will give you the.
Yeah, how much does this cost?
It's 37 point.
And,
But it has like 96 vCPUs in it. That is the
Yeah,
reason.
that also.
or CPU, the cores.
Oh, we see you.
Okay. So, but that gives you an idea how much you
Yeah,
spend when you run on our cluster.
Yeah.
And
Like, I can.
when you're not utilizing 100% of the GPU, you're
Yeah.
wasting half of it or whatever.
And while doing an instance, like Node Jupyter SageMaker instance, we can use the smallest, like without CPU, like without GPU instance, and deploy our entire architecture in there. And from there, we can deploy a training job with architecture which we need to train the model. Like from CPU instance, we can deploy GPU instance on which we need to train the job. Like from like that, we can save some costing and all. Difference between SageMaker instance and SageMaker training job. SageMaker instance is a Jupyter notebook managed by SageMaker, and SageMaker training job is like an environment which is also managed by SageMaker, but it only launches while training a model or anything like that. It's only runs and ends in the time when the model is being trained in the back. And it does, and it also has the facility to monitor and how the CPU utilization on the training job server and all like that. And what is an endpoint? Of the training model, we generally use the model to make some predictions by loading it and all. But here, using the endpoint in SageMaker, it provides an URL. In the back, there will be the train model. When we hit the URL, it returns the predictions and all.
Is it like is it like an API?
Yeah, it's like an API. Yeah. And we can also encrypt this endpoints so that we can restrict the access with one access and all. And most of the AI servers and all which are like available now might be using say endpoints and all. That's how it goes. And for demo, this is the architecture where which I'm planning to implement, where I have my data set in my S3 bucket, and I have my SageMaker instance, and it also have a model model in it, and which loads the data set from S3 and trains on the training job and uploads the output to an S3 bucket. And after uploading an output to S3 bucket, I'm planning to create an endpoint and test how it works. Okay. Before that, I'll show a live demo how it is.
Like it would be useful to have some like analysis tools that tells you if your code's like underperformance and wasteful.
That on the code profilers.
Yeah.
in SageMaker, I already created a notebook instance. You can directly create a notebook instance, giving the name, the type of notebook instance you want to deploy. For this, we need to create a SageMaker IAM role, which has permissions to all the services we are going to access. For suppose we are using S3 bucket to load the data and upload the data, and SageMaker service by default we need to use them. So I need to create a IAM role which has these two permissions and a CloudWatch permissions. CloudWatch is another service where we save all the runtime logs over there. So all the required service available in AWS. If you want to give access to this instance, then we need to mention in the IAM role and assign it to this notebook and create a notebook. That's all. After creating, it takes some time to spin up, and once it is from service, we can open the notebook. Yeah, this is my for testing. I have created this train.py, which has parameters which takes the input of epochs.
Are you running a SageMaker notebook now?
In SageMaker notebook also.
So while you're here in developing,
Yeah.
does it cost you money while you're? in
Yes,
developing?
I'm using the very minimum server, which costs 0.05 cents, 5 cents per hour.
Okay, so but ideally, if I'm developing, I would develop a dev node here on a local cluster
Yeah.
or something.
Yes,
And
yes.
only then
We
I
can
would
do that.
copy paste.
We can do that.
Okay.
I just want to show what's the difference between SageMaker instance and what's the training job is here. Here in the SageMaker instance, I place the training script and which takes the inputs of number of epochs and all and the batch size on which we want to split the data and number of batches. And so that once we are in it, this is my IP and divide files where I will be training my model here. And in order to do that, I need to provide the endpoint. Endpoint is nothing but the path to my training script. I just showed the training file where it should be run, and role is the IAM role which we assigned. Using this command, it directly assigns it over here. Framework and type of Python system and the instance type we are going to use. Here, what I'm doing is from a non-CPU GPU instance, I'm launching a GPU instance which trains the model and all.
Can you enlarge?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Okay. I think this works.
Command. Yeah, that's. You set it again. You do that.
Is it okay?
Yeah, okay.
Entry point is where we give the training script, and PyTorch wisdom, Py3 is PyTorch over here, and instance type, what type of instance we are going to run the training job. And I've shown the parameters, number of epochs and batch size. Here is where we pass them in hyperparameters, we provide the input for epochs and batch size, and which are while doing the training job, these are all triggered over there. And next comes the data set where we have it. I have a S3 bucket which have all the data required for this project, demo. I created a public S3 bucket so that I can download it from anywhere without keys and all. So it's all only cipher10 and all.
So again, for those who never saw this before, this is how your account on Amazon or AWS looks like when you log in.
This is my cipher data 10. I'm training my model on this data set, so I've named it as the same. And you can see I've given the mesh bucket name over here and cipher10 data path. Once I given that to the estimator which I created earlier, it starts training. Let me show how it starts.
So an interesting comment about S3 is a key value store, it's not a file system. And, yeah, people organize it hierarchically as a file system, but I heard Jeremy is using it, like he mounts his S3 vault to his laptop. And so it pretends like
Like an
as a
external
file,
hard disk.
it dies as a file system, so you can just like put data over there and, you need a fast internet connection. Yeah.
Maybe he already said, but, is there a, non-notebook style way of interacting?
Yeah, you can, the thing is like we need to configure the CLI in command line first in order to do all this without using a notebook. Like just create a AWS configure. There is like a detailed documentation available.
I thought you just installed the command line services.
Yeah,
for
we just
AWS.
need to install the command line service and provide the keys for in order to implement anything in the server, like in the AWS service. We need to configure it first in the backend, in the on the local node and deploy it over there.
Yeah, you don't need to derail your,
Yeah.
for this question.
In the meantime. Now estimated that it's what it does is like it spins up a training job.
So while it's training, like, I'm more curious on where the version, like how the main purpose of MLOps is basically to check what versions you can see. Where are the, like, what's the plots, like, what are the plots that you have done, and
Okay.
also, like, the information that you want to get from this, not just the endpoints, but like, if your model is actually training properly or not. So can you show that as?
Yes.
Oh, like one ZB and things like that,
Yeah.
like, how do you want?
Yeah, we have log section.
We have log section. It's like I just want to provide a intro idea for everyone to start. So I thought this should be.
Yeah, just follow your, like, we will interrupt anyways, but.
You know, training like in SageMaker, once we have spinned up the training job over here, once it is done, started, when we go to the training jobs, we can see a new job in progress.
That's one ZB. Mine. Okay. How did you do that?
It takes some like couple of minutes to get the logs in here, but once it is yeah.
So it can show you all the metrics right here.
Yes, yes. And even whatever the log is generated in the training, that is also like visible over here. And so we can see the progress. It takes like 5 to 6 minutes to complete all the training. Like I only provided 10 networks and 64 batches.
Well, but can you show the metrics, like while it's training, do we see the loss going down and all of that?
Oh, the graphs are like not included in this training job, but we need to do that. We can do that.
Well, I assume you can use, one ZB from it.
Yeah,
It's-
yes, yes,
If
we
they
can
already have, this, you can maybe output to SageMaker.
In the training job itself, we can include the LAN-DB code to output the log over there.
So you are treating it as a Slurm job, basically,
Yes.
not. But I assume there are more advantages to SageMaker, like monitoring and things like that, some internal infrastructure. But that's an advantage for those of us who have a job that we run on Slurm. We can just copy paste here and run here, like pretend we're still on Slurm. If you're already monitoring, yeah.
Okay, I can plan to show the,
Each one, that will try out last.
I can show the previous one, and this is how it goes. These are all the metrics which is available while.
Online, but this is hardware, yeah.
This is the hardware
gives you
part,
that.
but I need to include the part.
You have very bad GPU utilization. Can you zoom in with?
It's 7%.
3.4%. No, and this is like Yeah.
That's what
So-
you're charging.
Exactly, 94% of what they're charging, you're not using.
I don't think to reduce the CUDA and all that part of it.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
might be the- Or maybe it's an AMD. Like, not an NVIDIA.
Oh, it's an AMD
I haven't checked the configuration. I was like happy to provide a demo.
GPU.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like previous training jobs which are successful. This is the latest one. Give it a while. We have to. These are all the steps which is going in the back and like it will start a training job and prepare the instance. Like, it creates a live instance in the back which is not shown to us. And download all the required data into the server and start training after the download is completed. We can see all the series of steps of what is going on out there while this estimate is updated.
But can you move to that foundation model that they have in the jumpstart section on the left hand side?
Okay.
I want to see like what. Oh, they are down.
They provide.
Oh, do they have this file on 180?
AW does
Just
it.
came out yesterday.
AW does it, and we can do that.
And we did 180, where see the model GPU.
I think this is Hugging Face.
Why not?
This one is my Hugging Face.
I was also looking at one of the examples on, like, for example, in this case, you've already started the job and it's running, you've completed everything, but now I have to retrain it again. And sometimes what happens, like, I have a new data and I just have a new data, that's all. The whole pipeline is exactly the same, training, this, everything. Instead of me doing that run again, I read somewhere and I was thinking of implementing it before also. So there is something called Airflow.
Yeah.
So Airflow, what that will do is, it will, exactly how you have it in KV, you can just reschedule the run for it, whenever you want. And change the data set and then just set like, yeah, you want it to run at this time. And then
Maybe they just don't hear it.
Yeah, but they didn't complain. Online people, can you hear us?
I can now.
Oh.
Yes, can you hear us online? Yes, okay, now, okay, so there was a problem. I wonder why. That we need, focus on you, maybe, but maybe. Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's running, I can show you some other metrics. Like it calculates how much time it's billing and other stuff, how much it's gonna generate. You can see the training time and all. It's the how much time where AWS is gonna charge us, like it's 530 seconds for now, and it stops once the entire training goes is like completely done. Okay, 4 more bigger. Just like 5 to 6 minutes in the previous examples with the one, but here it's taking like more than what I expected.
Okay, we don't have to wait until it finishes. If we have 6 minutes until the hour. The meeting is done. So anyone has questions about SageMaker, training your models in AWS or anything like that, let's cut now.
Have you tried running the same thing on our cluster and AWS, seeing which one is faster? Is it different?
We can increase the computation size, so if we use a better server over there, might be faster. It depends on the what's the infrastructure we are going to use.
So like we use like basic one, which is like less cost. So
You can choose any kind of
Any-
hardware.
yeah,
It's
any
like-
test type.
It depends on
Is there
how
a
much you
faster
really.
CPU? Because I don't need more CPUs, I need a faster CPU.
Yeah, they're like accelerated computing instances and.
And I think I tried once, a few years ago, with, Brad was telling me how to use it, but I think there was not an option to run with only a few CPUs, but a lot of memory, for like 500 gigabytes of memory.
Oh, yeah,
but for-
high memory.
We can say accelerated.
Yeah, I mean,
Accelerated is
no, but what Sajad I think is asking is like, those are vCPUs, but you don't know which ones. So if I want the fastest CPU, a single core, but the fastest core available on the market right now, can I make that choice? Or the cores are virtual, I never know what I'm
also like
running.
virtual, so like all have this like virtual switches. And
Like I want this overclocked, water cooled 600 megahertz, 6,000 megahertz or something, I don't know, like 6 gigahertz CPU, one core. Can I get it on Amazon?
Like we can choose from either of the.
Yeah, but those are just the number of cores and they're all the same cores, unknown to me. What's their operating frequency? What's their L1, L2 cache and like. What if I write an assembly and I optimize for certain, like, will I get that? Like, I don't even know anything, right?
I think I will once check with support and put it in the group.
But that's more related to the service or the
Yeah, so
material that you're using.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's not MLOps that you are talking about. It's
Yeah.
like, what are the configuration that you want to use?
Well, but there is no information for me
yes,
on Amazon.
Yeah, and I
For
mean,
this-
frequently seen papers.
definitely I've seen
There's only a number of virtual CPUs, but with this virtual CPU, what it is? If you have a running EC2 instance, you can do cat proc CPU info. and see the bogomibs, at least, we will get some idea, but are they all the same? They're virtual, so they restricted to the same kind of,
There should be
fake
like different,
configuration. It's all virtual, they just like slice, the CPUs for you.
your training job is completed, and once we go back to the training jobs, the latest one is completed and it's stopped on its own, and then no need to stop again.
How many nodes
This
are
is the amount of time it's going to charge
Here,
us.
I know. And here too,
And
1 terabyte. 1 terabyte.
I also want to show how to create an endpoint over here. For this, for using the same estimator, I can deploy an endpoint from the model which is created and saved in the S3 bucket.
Can you quickly deploy it on like a super fast machine to show the difference in seconds? It's okay, we can spend some money.
Just made.
You're already not using anything, that's
Yeah.
like your GPU utilization is tiny, so I'm predicting that even if you choose an expensive machine, nothing will change because you're not utilizing even that hardware. Yeah. But yeah, you could just pay more. That's what they want you to do.
Like, Professor, shall I deploy an endpoint? It will take a while to create the endpoint.
No, and let's not do a while, we have just 2 minutes.
It takes like
No,
10 to
no.
15 minutes.
Yeah, that's not good, so anyone else has a question, concern?
I'm actually still here on the MLops part of AWS. I'm like, I got to know about the services and the like the configurations that you get. But like for example, in MLops you also have if you already if you already trained something, then you can also debug it, and you can also monitor. Like monitoring also is already done, but debugging is like, do I have to go to the code and I have to debug it by myself, or will AWS will give me some analysis?
The thing is like, in order to debug also, we need to make some changes. Like if you want to have the custom debugging, we need to provide a script of what it need to done. And as we have seen the Jupyter lab in the back, like then the previous slide, there is an option for okay. We have SageMaker Studio for that. Like what it does is like it manages the
We have like different.
So is that available on the site that you said?
Yes, it's all there. In order to do that, we can use the SageMaker Studio, which deploys the instances and trains the jobs, and it's a continuous cycle. We can do everything over there.
Okay, we're out of time, just about out of time. Let's stop the meeting and continue conversation offline. And thanks online people for coming.